Okay, so now we are going to study about the excretory system in our bodies. Alright, so the excretory system eliminates waste products from the body and helps maintain homeostasis. Okay, so homeostasis, sorry. The excretory system eliminates all the waste products. So we pass urine, we pass excretion, all of those things from the body. What is it composed of? It is composed of waste materials that are no longer needed by the body. Those are waste materials, and this helps maintain homeostasis. All right, what is that? Making a balance. Kidneys filter waste products and excess water from blood to produce urine. So whatever soluble products, all the waste products and excessive water, a lot of excess water is present in our blood. What the kidney will do, it will take all those waste products, it will take all the excessive water to produce urine. Alright, they also regulate the balance of electrolytes and maintain the pH of the blood. So the balance of electrolytes, what are electrolytes? Electrolytes are something that are making connections between neurons. Alright, they help in making connection between nerve cells. Charged particles, electrolytes, alright, like sodium chloride, we use salts, we eat salts. Why? It helps in better conductivity of electric signals between the brain and the body. Alright, so it also regulates the balance of electrolytes. It maintains the pH of the blood. What is the pH? Acid level. A low pH means acidic. High pH, basic. Now, this scale ranges from 1 to 14. From 1 to 7, it is acidic, 7 being neutral. Okay, and from neutral to basic is 7 to 14. This being the highest basic, 1 being the highest acidic. Alright, so in a urinary bladder, the urinary bladder stores urine until it is eliminated from the body through urethra. Okay, I will show you all of these. Let's see this diagram of the kidney. These are the kidneys. Okay, these are the kidneys. What is Rajma called? It is called kidney beans. Why? It looks like the kidney and it is helpful for our kidney as well. Alright, so this kidney, what it does is, this is what is purifying. They have cut it to show how it looks inside, but over here, this kidney that is present behind the rib cage, under the rib cage, it is small in size, not that big, but these kidneys, 2 kidneys are present in everyone, and this kidney is used to purify the blood, supply all the waste part to the urinary bladder. This sac-like structure is the urinary bladder where urine is stored, right? Urine is stored. So the urinary bladder stores the urine until it is eliminated from the body through the urethra. Ureters are tubes that connect the kidneys to the urinary bladder. You see these pipes, these pipes that are going, this long 2 pipes, these are the ureters. Ureters are responsible for transporting that waste material from the kidney to the urinary bladder. Simple as that, right? Over here, again, kidneys to the urinary bladder through the ureter. Okay, they transport urine from kidneys to the bladder. Urethra. Now urethra is important because urethra is a tube that carries urine from bladder out of the body. So when we pass urine, okay, this is the urethra. They have shown it as well. This part is the urethra. This is inside the body only, and it is responsible for transporting the urine when it has to be passed out. Alright, it has to be thrown out. What do the kidneys compose of? These kidneys are composed of nephrons. Alright, inside this kidney, there are a lot of absorbing parts. These are called nephrons. These are connected to blood vessels. So what would happen is, there will be a separation that would be occurring of all the clean blood and all the waste parts that are to be thrown out. Okay, so what these will do, it will take all the waste part supplied to the urinary bladder, and the blood vessels will take the clean part back to the body. Okay, movement control and coordination. Now we come to a very important part again, that is reproduction. Till now we thought, okay, so this is how the body performs, this is how the body derives its nutrition, this is where we take food, but we also take food to reproduce. Alright, from one organism to another. Alright, we humans reproduce, animals reproduce, plants reproduce. Alright, how is it happening? So what happens is, reproduction is the process by which organisms produce offspring. Alright, what is offspring? Children, little ones. Okay, it can be classified into asexual and sexual reproduction. So reproduction can be of two types. Okay, asexual and sexual. Asexual, only one partner is involved. Sexual, two partners are involved. Okay, for sexual reproduction we need male and female in all organisms, but in asexual only one organism is involved. So in asexual reproduction involves the production of offspring without the involvement of gametes. Without, what are gametes? Gametes are reproductive cells. Okay, I do not need gametes. Reproductive cells are produced by people of different genders, so male and female. So male will produce one gamete and female will produce another gamete, and we will come into the details of gametes later. But in asexual reproduction there are no gametes involved. Examples include binary fission in bacteria, budding in yeast. Okay, so what is binary fission? One organism dividing into two. Fission means dividing. Fission means division. Binary means two. So dividing into two. Budding in yeast. So maybe one organism, it develops a bud. This bud then transformed into one full organism. Okay, I will show you how it happens. Sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction requires the fusion of male and female gametes. Like I told you, it involves the fusion. Now fusion is the opposite of fission, right? Fusion is the opposite of fission. It involves combining. Fusion means combining. Okay, to combine to form one. Okay, it leads to genetic variation among offspring. Plants and animals, including humans, reproduce sexually. So most plants, most animals, alright, they will produce sexually because it leads to more variation among offspring, a stronger offspring, a weaker offspring, and more. Have you ever seen a banana, a twin banana? Have you seen, like, inside a single peel? Okay, supposedly this is a banana, right? This is a banana. It has like this, okay, on a tree. This is a banana. Inside the same peel there are two bananas. Alright, inside the same peel there are two bananas. This happens. Why does this happen? Due to genetic variation. Okay, what is genetic variation? Some stronger offspring. We can have different types of offspring depending on the male and female partners. Alright, So if consider skin color, if one of the partners is darker skin color, one of the partners is of a lighter skin color, it is chances that the offspring can either have a dark skin, either have a light skin, or have a mixture of both. Okay, this is called genetic variation, right? Let's get into deeper part. Asexual reproduction in plants. Now, what is asexual reproduction in plants? Asexual reproduction in plants involves the production of new individuals from a single parent plant. So, one plant leads to many plants, not many or even one or many, right? From one I got two, from one I got one, maybe. Okay, so this can occur through various methods such as vegetative propagation, fragmentation, and budding. I will discuss with you all of these in detail. What is vegetative propagation? Let me show you through a diagram. See over here, vegetative propagation. Using plant cuttings to produce plants from existing plants. Okay, now it might sound confusing, but what I do is I take a plant, I cut some part of it, maybe a part of the stem, some part of the leaf. See over here, maybe one branch, I cut this. I take it and I replant that branch into the soil in a different pot, in a different place. That branch that I put in, that part of that plant that I put in, can grow into a new plant. Alright, this is vegetative propagation. Using plant cuttings, alright, or parts of a plant to grow into a newer plant. The examples of this include rose plant, rose cutting. If you have heard of it, ask your parents, ask your grandmother, grandfather. We take the rose, we cut a part of a rose, we plant it, a new rose plant will grow in place of it. Alright, fragmentation. Now what is fragmentation? See over here, this is one stem, alright, or one tissue of a plant. I cut that into three parts, one fragment, two fragments, three fragments. All of these will grow into other stems. Okay, this is fragmentation. I did not only cut one part, I cut it into many parts. So this is fragmentation. This is asexual reproduction. From one, I am obtaining many. Consider hydra. Okay, hydra. Hydra reproduces through budding. Okay, hydra is a water-based plant. What happens is it will develop a bud. Okay, bud on its body, and this bud will develop into a bigger and a new hydra, and it will detach itself. Okay, so from this one hydra I got another hydra, but in this what happens is there is no genetic variation. 99% this will be similar to the parent plant. Okay, there is no variation, no one is giving their characteristics other than only one organism. Thus, there will be no genetic variation. Let's come to very important, sexual reproduction in plants. So what happens during sexual reproduction in plants is plants involve formation of flowers, pollination, fertilization, and seed dispersal. In the plants, they will develop a flower, we have seen. Pollination will occur, fertilization will occur, and seed dispersal. Now, how does all this happen? Let me tell you. So, the first part that happens is a flower is formed, right? A flower is formed. What would happen is this contains pollen grains. Now, what are pollen grains? This middle part contains pollen grains. Pollen grains are considered the eggs of the flower, okay, of the plant. Okay, an insect or a honeybee will come, it will sit on it, these pollen grains will get attached to its body, and when it will go to the flower of another plant, these pollen are transferred again. So this is sexual reproduction. But let's get into the detail. There are a few parts of the flower that are involved. Okay, so stamens. What is stamen? Remember the name stamen, S-T-A-M-E-N. It contains men. Okay, this is how you can remember. It is the male reproductive organ of the flower. Okay, so stamens are the male reproductive organ of the flower. They consist of anthers and filaments. So from stamen, I get anther and there is filament. Anthers produce the pollen grains. Let me show you. Okay, see over here, these two. These are the stamen, and this is anther through which we have pollen grains, these orange pollen grains, and this long tube that is going down, alright, that is supporting the pollen grains, that is the filament. So when you see in a flower, okay, I will show you from the side. You see a flower like this, okay, flower, petals, 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 petals. We see that these things in the center. Now this part is the filament, and what these grains are at the top is produced by the anthers. This is the male part of the flower. So whenever you see a flower next, you see that in the middle, that is the male part of the flower. Okay, that contains the male reproductive organ, that is stamen, okay, which contain anther and filament. Now we understand what was the male part, male reproductive organ, that is stamen. Now we come to pistil. Pistil is the female reproductive organ of flowers. Okay, pistil is the female reproductive organ of flowers. It consists of stigma, style and ovary. Let me show you. So this is a flower. Okay, when we see it from the side, in the middle there is also the pistil. This is the pistil, this part. This is the same flower, they have just enlarged it. Alright, over here you can see the pistil. This is the big green tube, this is the pistil. Okay, at the side there is the anther, the filament, stamen as a whole. But in this pistil I have stigma. This tube is the stigma, this green tube is the stigma, this at the top. In the middle it is the style, and at the end this oval part is the ovary. Okay, in this ovary lies the egg. Okay, the egg, that is the inside the female reproductive part of the flower, that is, it contains the egg. Okay, and egg is inside the ovary. All right, and so let me show you in detail. Consider this. I have stigma, I have this style, that is the long tube, this is the style, right, and this is the ovary, this outer green part. Inside this ovary I have the ovule, this whitish yellowish part, that is the ovule. Okay, and this blue part is the egg, it contains the egg. What happens is, through this stamen, through this anther or from another flower, the pollen is containing the sperm. Alright, that is the male gamete, the male cell. This will go inside this flower through this style, okay, through the stigma, through the style. It will let the male gamete enter and it will fertilize the egg. What does fertilize mean? They will combine to form a zygote, alright, which will grow into a new offspring. So let me come back to pollination. Pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma. It can occur through self-pollination or cross-pollination. So this might be occurring on the same flower because male and reproductive parts are on the same flower. or it could be between different plants, all right, of the same species, but located somewhere else. So maybe the one flower was over here and one flower was on another plant of the same species, and it get transferred over here. So that is pollination. Pollination can occur through wind, pollination can occur through seeds, all right. All this pollination can occur through insects, birds, all these things. Fertilization, let's come to fertilization. Now I told you that the sperm mixes up with the egg that is present in the ovaries, in the ovule, all right. The male gamete, that is pollen grain, that is released from the anther, it fertilizes the egg, it fuses with the female gamete to form a zygote. That fertilized egg, when the male gamete and the female egg, they combine, what they form is a zygote. It is called a zygote. Okay. Seed dispersal. After fertilization, when zygote is formed, seeds are formed and dispersed through various mechanisms. So let me show you how. You understand this arrow, see this arrow. Sperm went inside through the female reproductive organ, it fertilized the egg. Now this egg became a zygote, see this green part became a zygote. This zygote will grow to form an embryo, a seed. This ovule, you see, this is becoming a seed now, it is getting an outer covering, right? We have a harsh covering outside the seed. Why is that? To protect it. Now this seed contains the embryo. If I plant this seed somewhere, this outer layer will break and an embryo will germinate and grow into a plant. It will get a root, it will get another plant. So this is how it goes about, right? Fertilization. Over here you can see as well, this is the female reproductive part. It has at the top stigma, style, ovary. Inside we have the ovules which contain the eggs. These are sepals. What are sepals? Like petals, these are sepals. They are giving structure to the flower. Here we have stamen containing anther, the pollen grains and the filament. We have a petal. Why is there a petal? To attract insects, all right, to attract organisms so that pollination will occur. See over here, pollen grains, they get transferred, they get stuck to the insect. When they land on another flower or on the same flower, they will transfer that grain to fertilize the plant, and this is how sexual reproduction occurs in flowers. Now we come to asexual reproduction in animals. Okay, asexual reproduction in animals. Some animals can reproduce asexually through methods such as budding, regeneration or fragmentation. Even some animals can generate through budding, regeneration or fragmentation. So what would happen is, consider a starfish. If I cut one part of the starfish, right, like this, that part will grow into a new starfish. Okay, so it is like if I cut my finger grows into me. This is what happens in starfishes, all right. If I have this Spirogera, or see over here this organism, what would happen is, it would, if we fragment it into 2-3 pieces, each of these pieces will grow into a full organism, right? This is through fragmentation, regeneration. Now we come to the male and female reproductive organs inside humans. Now we come to humans, okay? What are the male organs that are present in boys? In animals, now let's first study about animals. The male reproductive organs include the testes, where sperm cells are produced, the vas deferens, which transports the sperm, and the penis, used for the transfer of sperm. In animals, in mammals, alright, what are mammals? That feed their children milk. All right, so horses, cows, bulls, and all those animals, us humans included, the male animals, all right, will have a reproductive organ called the testis. All right, the testes produce sperm. Okay, it is located outside of the body. It produces the sperm cells. The vast difference, now the sperms that are produced need to be transported, so it is connected to a vast difference through which sperm is transported. And the penis, all right, so penis is a male organ that is used to transfer the sperm, because we don't have pollination, all right, we don't have asexual reproduction, we need to transport it to the female, that is through penis. All these play a very important role in reproduction. All right, this is a very scientific process, this is a very natural process, and it has been around for thousands, if not millions of years. All right, so female organs, now we consider female organs. Female reproductive organs include ovaries, where eggs are produced, oviduct, which transport the eggs. Okay, oviducts are called fallopian tubes, they transport the eggs. The uterus, where the fertilized eggs develop into embryos. The vagina, used for copulation and childbirth. Let me tell you now, these are the male and female reproductive organs. What happens is, see, these are the testicles, testes, these produce the sperm. These pipes that are connected to it are the vas deferens. All right, these transport the sperm through this. Whenever there is reproduction occurring, this vas deferens will carry the sperm. We will have vesicles that will push the sperm over here. We have this prostate gland. What does prostate gland do? It gives secretions, it gives nutrition to the sperm, it makes it easier for sperm to flow. It flows through the urethra, this is the urethra, this is the penis, and it flows out to the female. Now in the female we have the vagina, we have, this is the inner working of the vagina, we have the ovaries. All right, ovaries produce the egg. All right, ovaries produce the egg. This egg is transported through the fallopian tube, transported to the fallopian tube. We have the lining, we have the cervical canal over here, we have the urethra. Okay, so this will take in the sperm and fertilization will occur over here, and this will attach itself to the urethra. All right, uterine cavity, it will this zygote, the embryo which will grow, attaches itself to this inner lining. Okay, now we'll get into the detail, but this is what it looks like. All right, this is what is present. Now we study the events in reproduction, what I told you. Events in reproduction include fertilization, embryonic development, and the birth of offspring. All right, embryonic development and the birth of offspring. So during fertilization, sperm cell fuses with an egg to form a zygote. Now by now we know that the male gamete, that is the sperm, and the female gamete, that is the egg, they fuse together, combine together to form a zygote, right? Embryonic development, after zygote comes embryo. After a few development process, embryo becomes a fully grown organism. So when we were little, when we were in our mother's wombs, we were an embryo which we grew and she gave us birth. All right, we grow in the womb, that is the urethra. Birth of a baby. In viviparous animals, offsprings are born alive. So there are two types of animals, viviparous, oviparous. All right, viviparous are like mammals. They give birth to a living organism. However, an oviparous animal will give birth to an egg, which contains an embryo, which will later grow and hatch. So that is oviparous. Let me show you what happens. So the egg from the female, the sperm from the male, they combine, they fertilize. Okay, these two, they form a zygote. This zygote develops into a baby with time. Okay, that time in humans is 9 months mostly. It develops into a baby. In animals, it may differ from animal to animal, alright, but that reproduction part is same for all viviparous animals. That sperm will go and fertilize the egg, which will result into a zygote, which will fertilize and it will grow. Now we come to viviparous and oviparous animals. Let's go into detail. Viviparous animals give birth to live young ones. The embryo develops inside the mother's body, receives nourishment from her, and is born after a gestation period. Humans are viviparous. So, viviparous give birth to living young ones. Alright, we do not give eggs. The embryo develops inside the mother's body, so that zygote that develops into an embryo is inside the mother's body. The mother's body is what gives the embryo nutrition, alright, so that it grows, alright. It receives nourishment from her and is born after a gestation period. What is the gestation period? Gestation period is a period of mostly 9 months in humans. Gestation period is the time that the embryo will take to develop into a baby so that it can be born. That is the gestation period. In oviparous animals, what happens in oviparous animals? Oviparous animals, they lay eggs. Alright, oviparous animals, they lay eggs. The embryo develops inside the egg and the young ones hatches from the egg when development is complete. So for example, birds, hens, reptiles, or like turtles, even platypus. Platypus is a mammal that lays eggs. Alright, so the embryo develops inside the egg. Alright, we can see over here the egg, and young ones hatches from the egg when development is complete. So oviparous animals, they won't keep the embryo inside them, but they will hatch it and it will grow, okay, and they will lay the eggs and sooner or later they will hatch after the development of the embryo inside is complete. Birds, reptiles, and most fish are examples of oviparous animals. Birds, reptiles, fishes, the fish, there is no such thing as fishes. Fish, they reproduce through oviparous animals, okay. Viviparous would be tigers, alright, us humans, horses, buffaloes, cows, whatnot, all the mammals, okay, we are viviparous. Adolescence. Now what is adolescence? Adolescence is a very important biological activity that we humans go through, alright. Adolescence is the transitional period between childhood and adulthood. So when you are in your teenagers, alright, in your late teens, 17, 18, 19, your body will start to develop a few characteristics that were not there before, alright. This is adolescence. It is a physical, mental, hormonal and psychological change. You will experience a lot of changes in your body, okay. Now in men and in female, these both are different. So what happens in a man, okay, skin gets oilier. Have you seen or maybe you will see that as you grow, your during adolescence, your skin will become oilier. It will have pimples, it will have acne, alright. Facial hair, men become men have beard, alright, they start developing facial hair. Their shoulders get wider, okay. Hair under the arms, they develop underarm hair. they develop pubic hair near the reproductive organ. They develop pubic hair over the pubic hair over the chest, hair over the abs, hair on their legs, hair on their arms. They develop more hair. Neck, chest, leg muscles get bigger and stronger. They develop more testosterone. They get bigger muscles. All right, they become stronger. Penis gets longer and wider, and testes get larger. What happens is the penis, it gets longer, the shoulders are wider, and the testes get enlarged. So adolescence is promoted or found with development of reproductive parts. All right, in both male and female, they undergo reproductive development. All right, their reproductive parts start to develop. All right, in a woman's body, it gets curvier. All right, it gets curvier, skin gets oilier, as both in males. They also undergo pimples. Hair under the arms, both have hair under the arms. Breasts start to develop. So in women, like in men, muscles get bigger, frame gets bigger. In women, their breast or their chest becomes bigger. All right, pubic hair, they also get pubic hair. Hip bones get wider. So like our bones in men, the bones and the hair were growing, the muscles were growing. In women, their hips get wider. All right, their hips get wider. They start storing more fat on their hips and on their breast. Leg muscles get bigger and stronger. In women, the leg muscles will become bigger and stronger. This is adolescence. Now we come to puberty. Puberty is the stage of development when sexual maturity is attained. So puberty is the time when your reproductive organs have developed and the body is reproductive capable. All right, sexual maturity is attained. It involves onset of reproductive capability and onset of secondary sexual. So what happens is, now you have grown to such level that you can reproduce to form another individual. All right, this happens in both men and female, men and women, sorry. So what happens is, both attain sexual maturity. What sexual maturity means is, they can both reproduce, they are capable of reproducing to form another offspring. That stage at which humans attain sexual maturity is called puberty. Another important part is menstruation. We should all be aware of menstruation. So what happens is, women, they release an egg every month. All right, and it is when that egg is not fertilized, all right, then the body of the woman gets rid of that egg. All right, eggs are produced by the ovaries, right? So if that egg is not fertilized that month, what would happen? That egg will need to flow out because it is an unfertilized egg. So that monthly shedding of the uterine lining in females, let me show you a menstrual cycle. If the egg is not fertilized, all right, every month the reproductive organ of a woman would make itself ready to receive the sperm. All right, and it may not get the sperm. So what happens is, this lining had got thicker. All right, now since there is no sperm, there is no fertilization taking place, this inner lining will shed and it will come out in the form of blood and mucus. All right, blood and mucus, because that egg needs to be released. This is a very natural process. Now the uterine lining in females, it will shedding of the uterine lining. It is a part of menstrual cycle and is regulated by hormones. This is all regulated by hormones. This happens once a month. Okay, so for this, there needs to be proper awareness about menstruation, menstrual cycle. Okay, this happens during reproductive age when characteristic starts to develop during adolescence in females. This happens once a month. It is in a periodic cycle. Okay, and this happens every month for women, and proper sanitary conditions need to be maintained, otherwise it may lead to infections. So there are various sanitary pads and various instruments and personal hygiene products that are used in during this time. It is usually around a week or 5 days during a month or during this cycle every month that this happens. All right, whenever this usually onsets during young teenage years, and a woman also reaches a point when menstruation does not occur, when her body does not produce egg altogether. That is at an old age. All right, and that part is called menopause. Right, menopause, because during menopause no more eggs are released and menstruation does not occur. That is in old age of women. Men do not menstruate. All right, this occurs in women and it is a very natural process and should be aware of. So that will be all for today. Thank you.